I am hopping on tonight to do another tarot tag. I love them. Anyway, this one is new. It has been created by Jeff Burr of Tattooed Spirit. I will link his original video in the description box. And how this tag works is that we choose 10 cards from our favorite deck, and we describe the left hand and right hand qualities of each card, and how they kind of pull into the meaning of the card and really kind of open up the differences between what we see and how we read them. So to kind of go by way of a little bit of an explanation, left hand qualities are more receiving, beginning, anticipating, passive, kind of like intuition and learning, that kind of a thing. Right hand qualities are giving and accomplishing and very active and closing, and that kind of a feeling, a real verb as more of like a descriptor for the right hand or the left hand. So I have gone through my favorite deck, the handle. This is my, you guys have seen it a million times. This is my oldie, bent up, beat up handle deck that I've had since I was 14, so it is most definitely my favorite. And I have picked 10-ish cards. You'll see what I mean in a second, and gone through, and we're going to go through each card, and I'll show you. So the handle deck is a pip deck. There are no people in the minors, so these cards are all court cards and trumps. So that kind of made for a little bit of an interesting exercise. All of these cards are very kind of heavy hitters. Not that minor arcana aren't, but these guys are all serious business. So we're going to start with number 1, which is the one I cheated on. Get it out of the way. And then by the end, maybe you'll forget I cheated. So we're going to start here with the Emperor and the Empress. In the Empress's right hand, she's holding a snake. The snake is, in this card, is a symbol of the feminine power that she has. It is a symbol of the life force and Kundalini, and holding it in her hand the way she is, it's showing how she is really mastering that force and using it to create and shape life. In her left hand, she holds a scepter. Scepters are generally depictions of ruling, or kings hold scepters, queens hold scepters, that kind of a thing. But this is in her left hand. In her left hand, she's really kind of ruling behind the scenes. She is the reason that all life exists. Life begins with her, but her power doesn't need to be ostentatious. It doesn't need to be outstated. It's there regardless of recognition. So now if we move to the Emperor, I didn't realize I wasn't holding these up. Okay, we move to the Emperor. You can kind of see he has a scepter in his right hand. That's the scepter that the Empress has given him. And the Emperor is very much the character where his ruling power is ostentatious. It is out there. It is on display. And he is not taking the power from the Empress, but taking what she does, taking the life that she's created, and now getting it ready for the world, teaching it, molding it, giving it examples of how to function in society, and using it. So don't mind my kitty making meows. In his left hand, you can see a golden orb. Now that is his lesson. Like I said, the Emperor is the teacher. He's the one that teaches the pupil, or the child, or the fool to function in society, to be able to get a job and get a car and get a house and contribute. And the golden ball in his hand is a symbol of that. It's a symbol of the material. It's a symbol of his lesson in a tiny little package. So that's my first card, the Empress and the Emperor. It's a cheat, I know, I'm sorry. Card number 2. Card number 2 is the Knight of Cups, or the Son of Cups in the North. And this is an image of Parzival, who is one of King Arthur's knights. Parzival has both of his hands on the Grail, on the Holy Grail here. So what that tells us is that this person that would be represented by this card would have both of their inner and outer qualities focused on one thing. The Knight of Cups is someone who is very devoted and very loving, and almost to a fault. And so this card shows that, in that he has one singular focus, the Grail, or if you know Grail mythology, the Grail symbolizes the female and the womb and sexuality of a female. So he's got one thing on his mind. That's the Knight of Cups. Card number 3 is the Father of Cups in the North, or the King of Cups, and that's Odin. And you can see in this card, you don't see his right hand, because his left hand is pointing to the runes here on the ground. And Odin's myth is that he was tied to the Tree of Life and given the runes as to give to the world. So as their knowledge, as their learning, their basis for learning language and things like that. So his left hand, which is all about learning and giving and sharing knowledge, is pointed at the runes here, and his right hand is not seen. And that's card number 3. Card number 4 is the Father of the Swords in the South, or the King of Swords, and he's depicted in this deck by Ra. Now, in Ra's right hand, you see a scepter, another scepter here. And that goes along with Ra's myth about how he became old and tired and decided to give his power to Thoth to rule. And so his symbol of power and responsibility is in his right hand. He's winding down and getting ready to share it with somebody else. He's taking a very passive role in ruling. In Ra's right hand, you see a key, or the Ankh. The Ankh is the key that unlocks souls. After a person has died, it unlocks their soul and ferries it to heaven. So in his new role, after Thoth takes over and rules, Ra is the giver of eternity. He unlocks the souls and ferries them off to their next life, or their next purpose, or heaven, or whatever you want to call it. So that's Ra. The next card I have is the Hermit. The Hermit in Handel's deck is, let me go to my notes, sorry. Okay, so in his right hand, he has his light. Light stands for the knowledge that he has gained from withdrawing from humanity. So that is his receiving of knowledge and of the inner wealth of things that he's discovered about himself. So in his left hand, he holds a shepherd's crook. And that's his guidance that he gives. So all of the knowledge that he's gained in his right hand, he gives out to the world in guiding anybody else who wants to take on the hermit's journey. So that's the Hermit. The next card I have is the Star. And the Star is another card in which we don't see the right hand. We only see the left hand. And the left hand here, it looks to be washing her hair or his hair. You can't really see the gender of the person in the card. But the star is all about peace and love and that which comes after conflict. So we've gone through, and the Fool's journey, the Fool's gone through some tumultuous times. The star comes after the Tower, and she's just giving comfort with her hand. She's very loving and very gentle. And so with her right hand, she washes her hair, which is a very comforting thing. If you've had long hair and had somebody wash it for you, I recommend. Anyway, next card. Next card is the Fool. So in Handel's Fool, yet another card in which we don't see a right hand. I guess I'm kind of cheating with all of these, but I was told to use my favorite deck. This is my favorite. It's just not a lot of right hands in this deck. So we have the Fool. His left hand is touching a wound that is on the swan in the background there. The wound represents humanity and our fallibility and our impermanence. And so the Fool, in wanting to learn about humanity as he's starting out on his journey, he is touching this wound to kind of connect himself with that part of being. As himself, he doesn't know where he's going, so the first thing he wants to do is touch humanity and know what it means to be human. And that's the Fool. The next card I have is the Mother of Wands in the East, or the Queen of Wands, and this is depicted by Kali. She's got 4 arms, so we're going to go with the assumption that we have the right hand on the top and the left hand on the bottom. Does this count as another cheat because she's got extra hands? I'm going to cheat again. But in her upper hands, you see more scepters, more ruling power. These scepters, one goes into 3 points. The other one goes into sort of a phallic or like acorn shape. And they both have red stones in them, symbolizing fire and passion and that kind of thing. Queen of Wands is all about passion. And in her lower hands, which I'm going to be calling her right hands, she's cradling her wound. There's also red inside there, so you can kind of see that she's holding the fire in her belly. So this could mean a couple of things. This could mean passion for life, passion for sex, passion for love, or it could mean an actual physical human representation of that love, so a child or something like that. So that's what we have there. The next card, we have Death, and these hands are a little bit trickier. These hands are split up between 2. So in the left, the skeletal hand that you see here, there's the scythe. And this is the thing that Death uses to create the change that he represents. He's cutting through the old. He's killing the self, the ego, those kind of things. And so that is a very, full of action type of hand. And then in the background, this is the river Styx back here, as Handel depicted it. And floating on the river Styx is Chiron. And he has an oar or another staff in his right hand in the background. And so Chiron's job is to ferry souls over into the underworld, and that is his job. So he's taking the souls that have passed over, or he's taking the lessons that we learned from the change in death and transitioning us into a new part of life. So that's Death. And then my last card is the Father of the Wands in the East, or the King of Wands, and this is depicted by Brahma. And he's another dude with 4 hands. So this is kind of a cheat, like I said. So in his with Brahma, we're not going to do like what we did with Kali and up and down. Well, no, we are. I lied. So in his top hands, he has scrolls, and he has he's making a symbol with his hands, which I know it means something, but I don't remember what, so I apologize. But here we have a depiction of knowledge and learning, and passing that on to people. And then in the bottom here, he is holding a spoon that he is stirring in a fire, and he has a kettle which is full of milk. And these two things are very active in that they are nourishment, they are sustenance for us. So the top kind of has the mental underneath sustenance, and this has our very physical active sustenance. So left and right for Brahma. So that was my Hang Ten Tarot tag. Thank you, Jeff, for creating this. This was really interesting, and I liked it. I like the idea of the left and the right, and using actual pictures to spur on what we see and how we read the cards. So I hope you guys all enjoyed that. And definitely check out Jeff's video. The rules are I have to tag 3 people, so I am tagging Pamela Tice, Owlcat75, and Ms. Nikki Moore. I hope you guys do it. I would love to see your answers. Yeah, that's it. Love and light, y'all. Have a great night. Bye.